April 1945. Berlin is engulfed in chaos. Explosions echo above the Vorbunker. Outside, soldiers and civilians alike face annihilation. Inside, Hitler is unrecognizable, frail, twitching, lost to paranoia and delirium. Morell has fled or been sidelined, his treatments unable to restore order. Eyewitness accounts describe a man slurred, shaking, barely coherent. He rants at staff, accuses allies and generals of betrayal, then collapses, only to be propped up by aides. The once feared orator, who inspired devotion with his voice and presence, is reduced to chemical dependency and fear. Historians widely agree that Morell's interventions, while intended as medicine, contributed to Hitler's decline. The drugs prolonged life, but distorted judgment, intensifying paranoia and physical frailty. As the city fell, so too did the illusion of the Führer's invincibility. The camera pulls back. Berlin burns, smoke curling into the night sky. The bunker's lights flicker. Inside, a man once considered a god among his people is a trembling shadow. You can almost hear the echoes of speeches, now ghostly whispers. His generals hesitate, the city crumbles, and history records the end of a dictator undone not only by armies, but by chemical manipulation. As the final moments fade, Hitler slumps into his chair. The camera pans to an empty syringe, the vial discarded. Silence dominates. The world outside moves on, yet the story of obsession, dependency, and the human body's betrayal remains a chilling lesson. The camera pans across a dimly lit Berlin clinic, the air thick with the metallic temps of antiseptic and burning coal. Outside, the city trembles under the weight of Allied bombings. Inside, a man in a white coat moves briskly between rooms. This is Dr. Theodor Morell, Hitler's private physician, a figure both trusted and feared in the Führer's inner circle. By 1936, Morell had wormed his way into Hitler's life. He was unassuming in demeanor, yet persistent, offering treatments that no one else dared suggest. His office is cluttered: glass vials, syringes, powders, and mysterious extracts. Some bottles bear labels like Vitamultin or testicular extract. He promised vigor, clarity, and endurance. Hitler, fascinated by longevity and potency, embraced these concoctions. Imagine standing beside Hitler in his study. The Führer leans forward, pale under the harsh lamplight, hands trembling slightly. Morell injects him with a serum, murmuring encouragement. Outside, Berlin crumbles. Inside, Hitler's body begins a transformation that few, even in his inner circle, truly comprehend. Morell's treatments were diverse and extensive. He administered over 80 substances daily: vitamins, hormones, barbiturates, amphetamines, and the infamous bull testicle extracts. Historical documents, including physician diaries and army medical reports, confirm these treatments. Morell justified each dose as a necessity, a prophylactic against fatigue and illness. But with each injection, Hitler's body became increasingly dependent, his mind subtly altered. Generals noticed changes: Himmler, Keitel, and Jadl observed the Führer's once shakable confidence replaced with erratic behavior and impulsive decisions. By 1943, whispers of concern circulated. The man is deteriorating, medically unstable, they said in hushed tones. The scene closes with Hitler alone, staring at maps of Europe. His eyes flicker with intensity, but there's a tremor in his hand. The camera lingers on the syringe Morell just discarded. You can almost feel the tension crackling in the room. And then, a subtle unease creeps in. What happens when the man who commanded millions becomes a puppet to chemicals? The question hangs in the air. The screen fades into a close-up of Morell's workbench. Tiny droplets glisten under the lamp. Each vial represents a promise of health, yet carries a hidden cost: amphetamine, methamphetamine, barbiturates, vitamins, and hormonal extracts. Morell's daily arsenal is dizzying. By 1944, Hitler's regime is unraveling. The Eastern Front collapses, the Allies advance relentlessly, and Berlin braces for devastation. Meanwhile, Hitler's body betrays him. Tremors shake his hands. His speeches slur. Sentences collapse mid-thought. Ow! Staff notice a gaunt figure, once exuding authority, now pale and twitching. There were stimulants, sedatives, digestive aids, and vitamin infusions. The more Hitler consumed, the more his physiological and psychological balance deteriorated. What once seemed miraculous now becomes a trap. Imagine standing in the forebunker during a meeting. Hitler gestures wildly at maps, accusing generals of treachery. The smell of sweat and antiseptic is thick. You hear the tremble in his voice. "They will betray me," he snaps. Every one of them. He's seeing enemies where there are none. Historical accounts from aides like Trottel Jung describe this paranoia escalating. Morell's influence extends beyond injections. He controls access, timing, and dosage. He becomes the gatekeeper of Hitler's reality. Army medical officers report that Hitler's behavior is increasingly erratic. At times, he cannot walk unaided. His memory falters, and his judgment falters dangerously. Each treatment brings a fleeting burst of energy, followed by deeper dependency. As Section 2 closes, the camera focuses on a trembling Hitler staring at a globe, his finger jittering over Berlin. The city burns outside, yet inside, his empire collapses quietly under chemical sway. The viewer is left to wonder, who truly holds power, the Führer or the physician? A heavy silence blankets the Reich Chancellery. Generals convene, whispering, pacing. The war is lost, yet Hitler's erratic orders continue. Some officers glance nervously at each other. Can they follow a man who is no longer himself? By 1944, documents reveal that senior officers repeatedly expressed concerns. Hitler's paranoia has intensified. He believes spies lurk in shadows, sabotaging efforts from within. His once strategic brilliance gives way to impulsive, catastrophic directives. Morell's treatments, initially seen as a boon, are now part of the problem. Visualize a late-night meeting. Keitel hesitates, hands clenched. "He's not well," he whispers. The man is losing control. Every tremor, every slurred word feeds the officer's unease. Even loyal staff begin to question the Führer's decisions, noting the strange combination of vitality and delirium. Morell, ever the devoted doctor, documents the doses meticulously. He insists each treatment is necessary. Bull semen extracts, methamphetamine injections, vitamin infusions. They are not quackery in his eyes, but medicine. Yet the unintended consequence is clear. Hitler is physically sustained, mentally fractured. As generals debate, Hitler retreats to his private quarters. Camera follows him along shadowed corridors. His reflection in the mirror is almost unrecognizable. Hollow eyes, pale skin, hands twitching uncontrollably. You hear faint murmurs of past speeches echoing. The man who once stirred crowds with the power of oratory now battles chemical puppeteering. The scene freezes on his trembling hand, reaching for another syringe. The screen darkens. Bombs shake Berlin. Sirens wail. Beneath the city, in the forebunker, Hitler's world is shrinking. He moves from room to room, increasingly detached. Morell attends him, syringe in hand, administering potions designed to keep the collapse at bay. By early 1945, Hitler's condition is catastrophic. Diaries and testimonies describe a man shaking violently, mumbling to himself, slurring orders. Morell injects a new serum, murmuring reassurances, but the effects are fleeting. Hitler collapses into delirium, visions of enemies and conspiracies clouding his mind. Allies are approaching, yet the Führer is paralyzed, trapped by drugs as much as by circumstance. Staff observe a frightening spectacle. Hitler pacing, muttering about betrayal, his hands clawing at invisible foes. The once siren-willed dictator is now a shadow, a chemical puppet. Historical letters confirm the extreme nature of his dependency. Morell, oblivious or indifferent to the wider catastrophe, continues his ministrations. Imagine standing in the dim bunker corridors, feeling the cold stone underfoot, hearing the distant thunder of Allied artillery. Hitler emerges, wild-eyed, shaking violently, points at the ceiling. They're everywhere. Staff flinch, unsure whether to intervene. The drug-induced hallucinations merge with the reality of defeat. Every injection is both a lifeline and a shackle. The section closes with Hitler seated, staring blankly at a map, trembling uncontrollably. The camera lingers on the syringe beside him. The viewer realizes The man who once inspired fear and awe has become hostage to his physician's potions. The ultimate question looms: can a leader survive when his body betrays him?